W.B. Mason, and the Yawkey Foundations.
You're looking at one of the newest parts of Fenway Park. If you've been to the ballpark lately, you may have enjoyed the brand new picnic area out in right field, and it is something very special. Wide open, lots of new concessions, and lots of room to roam with the family picnic tables. And it all leads to the greatest ballpark in baseball. Fenway, the Red Sox, playing host to the Anaheim Angels, the world champs in town. Game 2 of the 3-game series, and it's coming up next on your New England Sports Network. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Boston Globe pregame report. I'm Bob Rogers alongside Dennis Eckersley. And Dennis, we continue to watch this Red Sox team. First of all, enjoy the home cooking. Second of all, they don't care about big deficits. Last night, the 10th time this season, they have come back after being down 3 runs or more.
I mean, they're down 5-0 last night. Good for Jeff Suppan because he needed it badly. He gave it up last night, 3 home runs. But it came down to this. Nixon getting a big clutch single off one of the toughest relievers in the game, Brendan Donnelly, who had a minuscule ERA. He gets a big hit, drives in the run to make it 10-9. They hold on because they come back with their 2 nasty relievers, 2 contrasting styles, both nasty. Williamson first, Kim second.
Well, we'll talk about this a little later with Jerry Remy, but Dennis, I'd say that there are very few teams in baseball that can put that 1-2 combination in the 8th and then the 9th.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they did. They shorted up. Theo went out and got Williamson, another closer, to go. Take your choice, Kim or Williamson.
Well, the Red Sox now 36-16 at Fenway Park. It's a winning percentage close to 700. It's the 2nd best winning percentage in the American League, and Trot Nixon, for one, glad to be back home at Fenway.
It's good to get back home. We've seemed to swing the bat real well here at home so far this year. I'm not going to jinx anything, but hopefully it'll continue. And, you know, this is a good win for us tonight, win the first game of the series. And you know, now coming into tomorrow night, that's our main goal, trying to win tomorrow night.
Well, they accomplished the main goal and improved to 65-46, really status quo in the American League because Oakland and New York also winners last night. But I guess the one down note would be the debut of Jeff Suppan the 2nd time around in a Red Sox uniform.
Well, he's been so hot in the National League. We got him when he was like won his last 5 starts. And last night, I mean, he was uptight. This was like a playoff start, really. The electricity about this guy coming over, you know he was feeling it. And he's a guy that has to hit his spots. He had bad location last night, gave up 3 home runs. They were only solo home runs, but he just wasn't sharp. I mean, he may not walk that many guys, but he got the ball out over the plate. Here's a changeup right here that gets smoked. So somebody must be sitting on it. He just didn't have his stuff last night. Bad location.
Long layoff, too, from the last time he pitched. He had talked about all of the variables that affected the way he pitched.
Well, you know, last night, going into this year, he only gave up 11 home runs. He gave up 3 last night. So, you know, there's a lot to do with it. He gets traded. He sits around for 10 days. It's not an easy thing.
You look at what he had done in his previous 6 starts, as you mentioned, 5-0, 2.45 ERA. So certainly a guy who is very hot right now. We'll hear from him a little bit later in the show. But, of course, as the Red Sox take the field tonight, it's good news because Pedro's on the hill. But is it good news? They really have not played well when Pedro's pitched.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that I think Pedro has been Pedro this year. He's got like a 2.4 ERA. How can you complain with that? He's probably he's got punch-outs galore. He missed a part of the first half of the season, but this guy has been Pedro. They just haven't scored him runs. Earlier in the year, the bullpen faltered quite a few times, and he should have won 4 or 5 extra ball games. Now he's sitting on 7 wins, which is unbelievable. In fact, the team record with him on the mound, they're like 10-9.
Exactly.
So it's not his fault, but at the same time, he'd have to be able to throw 150 pitches to do it all by himself.
And you can't do this, but if you took out that start he had against Baltimore, he would be 7-1 with a 1.75 ERA. The numbers are incredible, but here you go. When you break it down with the other aces of the teams that are in contention, you see the team's record when they pitch. All the other numbers are comparable, but that record when Pedro pitches, it's nothing close to like what Tim Hudson has done for Oakland.
All it tells you, when you've got a 2.42 ERA and you're 7-2, somebody's not scoring me any runs. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a conscious thing. I know it's not conscious. The hitters maybe come to the plate thinking they don't have to score a lot of runs. It's not like all of a sudden Pedro's pitches and we don't have to try. I mean, everybody tries every night. It just so happens that maybe they don't feel like they don't have to score that many runs. I don't know what it is.
Maybe they press a little bit now, too, understanding they want to get their ace.
Maybe lately they've been pressing when Pedro comes on the mound.
All right, let's head down to the field because there's some big news around baseball. The Yankees pulling off a very significant deal as they make a waiver wire deal. Down in the field, it's Tom Caron with Gordon East to tell us all about it. Tommy.
Bob, thank you, and it's an interesting one. Jeff Nelson last week kind of went public with his complaints that his Seattle Mariners didn't do enough to upgrade the team. Well, they made what they think is an upgrade today by getting rid of Jeff Nelson. They sent him back to New York for Armando Benitez.
I mean, it's amazing, fellas. I mean, guys just cleared waivers yesterday, and we already have a big deal. Armando Benitez going to the Mariners, and I mean, talk about a concession, Tommy, by Brian Cashman, that maybe the Armando Benitez trade wasn't exactly what the doctor ordered for the Yankees. Neither guy has been pitching particularly well. They're both in the last year of their contract. Nelson is 5 years older than Benitez. There's cash involved in the deal. I know that's a shock. Yankees sending money to Seattle along with Benitez. You know, if I'm a Red Sox fan, I'm encouraged by this for a couple of reasons. One, because it is an acknowledgement by the Yankees that this wasn't the solution to their bullpen woes. And two, the Red Sox are going to be playing Seattle 7 times in the next couple of weeks. You're going to get a crack at Benitez.
Surprised, though, that both players passed through waivers?
You know, I'm not, Tommy. A lot of players waivers now. I mean, except for the really big ticket guys, you're going to see a lot of players go through waivers, and it's just the nature of the beast right now.
All right, Brandon Lyon here with the team. We know he came back from Pittsburgh, seeking a second opinion, as we understand it, and hoping maybe to be back with the team next week.
Well, obviously, I mean, this is a situation that was a point of contention between the Pirates and the Red Sox in terms of how healthy Brandon Lyon's elbow was. You know, in a situation like this, Tommy, it's good business sense, and it's what the Red Sox did. They encouraged Brandon Lyon to go ahead and get a second opinion. He's going to go down to Dr. James Andrew in Birmingham, Alabama, very esteemed orthopedist. Brandon seems to think that his elbow's okay, but for peace of mind, he's going to get that second opinion. If everything is okay, joins the team on the West Coast next week.
And quickly, Jeremy Giambi, he had the arthrogram MRI. That's when they inject the stuff in, and you don't do that unless you really think there's an injury.
Absolutely, and you know what, Tommy, maybe they find out that there is something seriously wrong here, or significantly, you know, sufficiently wrong that it's affected his performance today. There's got to be an explanation why a guy who's a lifetime good hitter like Giambi has scuffled the way he has.
And last but not least, Kevin Youkilis last night came 1 game away from breaking Kevin Millar's record. Instead, 71 games in a row he gets on base. Still an amazing run.
You know, I think we got to do a little investigating here, Tommy. You know, what did Millar offer Youkilis that, you know, he keeps him in the record book by taking the offer yesterday? I mean, this organization is all about on-base percentage, and you can't do any better, clearly, than what Youkilis has done. And here comes Pedro Martinez behind us, ready to make his start. But 71 in a row, tremendous accomplishment.
Interesting that twice he was called out on strikes last night, so maybe trying to work that walk, you know, trying to get that extra base.
Well, and I mean, that's what the high on-base guys are going to do. They're going to take a pitcher deep into the count, and occasionally they're going to get rung up. Youkilis wasn't terribly happy about a couple of those calls, but again, you can't diminish that achievement.
Well, it's always a big night in Boston Wednesday nights. The place is always rocking. Sports Plus going to be there live, although you're here with us, so Fenway will be rocking as the Red Sox get ready to go. Let's go back to Bob.
Tommy, thanks very much. And by the way, even though Youkilis didn't have a hit, didn't get on base last night, and the Paw Sox lost, they are still 5.5 games up in the division. So a good season for Buddy Bailey's crew. Up next on the Boston Globe pregame report, we will visit with last night's starting pitcher, Jeff Suppan. That is next. Almost a winner at Fenway Park, despite the fact he wasn't pitching well. He left with a chance to win the ball game. Of course, the Angels came back as well, so he did not figure in the decision. And his debut in his second time around in a Red Sox uniform was a little less than he had hoped for. He joins us now in the Boston Globe Player Profile.
Thanks very much. Jeff, let's start at the beginning last night. Just what it was like coming out from the bullpen, the crowd obviously behind you. What did that feel like as you came out to the mound?
Oh, it was definitely special, the crowd, you know, clapping like that. It's something that you never think about, but I mean, when you hear something like that, it gets you pumped up, and I was definitely pumped up for yesterday. And you know, unfortunately, you know, I didn't pitch well, but we won.
You got the win. Again, your performance. It had been an 8-day layoff. Just, you know, take us through maybe what happened, and were there some circumstances maybe because of the layoff, because maybe were you too pumped up? I mean, what went into what happened last night?
Well, I mean, I just think that lack of location, I mean, I think that's huge as a pitcher, and I didn't really have it. So how I got to that point of not having location it's just, you know, as a starter, you gotta find it somehow. So, and yesterday I wasn't able to do that, but I'm getting ready for my next start and going from there.
And you left with a lead. Talk about the offense and your sort of first-hand observation of it last night.
Yeah, you know, I haven't seen that kind of offense in a while, and see a 7-run inning was very impressive, and I'm looking forward to the future.
A lot of questions you were asked when you got to Baltimore on Sunday, but just sort of take us through real quickly what it's like to be back here, be back in a pennant race, and to sort of come full circle.
Definitely very special, and you know, I'm just trying to take it and enjoy it, and you know, like I said, I'm really just trying to get my feet wet, get back into, you know, feeling right again, get ready for my next start.
Jeff, welcome back to Boston.
Thank you. Okay.
Jeff Suppan with us. Let's go back to our NESN studios.
Tom, thanks very much. I got to tell every Red Sox fan, too, give this guy a chance to really get comfortable here before you start making a judgment on one performance, because one start this season does not give you an indication of how well he's pitched all season for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Up next on the Boston Globe pregame report, we will talk some football. Patriots preseason opener is coming up, and that is next. Opposite in consecutive at-bats against the Texas Rangers. First, he lined it with a triple play. That's bad. But then 2 innings later, with the Sox down 7-4, he belts a grand slam to put the Red Sox up, and the team goes on to win it 10-7. So quite a night for Scott Hatterberg. Let's switch up a little bit and get you ready for some football. The Patriots, of course.
Closed captioning for Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Aflac, Dunkin' Donuts, Verizon, WB Mason, and the Yawkey Foundations.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Fenway Park.
It was a Tuesday night slugfest at Fenway as the Red Sox rallied for a come-from-behind win over these fallen Angels. Pedro has not lost a game in nearly 3 months. He is second in the league in ERA, and the Aces dominated Anaheim in his career. A win for Pedro, easier said. Live from Fenway Park, NESN presents Boston Red Sox baseball. Tonight, the Red Sox take on the Anaheim Angels. Hi, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, as always, joined by Jerry Remy. A lot of offense last night. We expect more pitching tonight.
We certainly do. Every time Pedro Martinez takes the mound for the Red Sox, they expect to win the game. The problem is Pedro has not had many wins himself because at times this year the Red Sox offense has not supported him or the bullpen has let him down. Maybe now those things can get together, give Pedro some big wins the rest of the season.
Pedro will be matched up against Aaron Sealing. We've got it next after this. On NESN.